Italy is one of the most visited countries in the world, but most people only experience a small part of it. A few cities, a few landmarks, and they leave thinking they've seen everything. But once you go beyond that, Italy feels completely different. Italy isn't just one experience. It's completely different worlds in one country, from historic cities, to dramatic coastlines, to mountains that don't even feel real. If you're into discovering places beyond the usual tourist version, make sure you're subscribed. We explore destinations a little differently here. Rome. Start with Rome. A city where history is everywhere. The Colosseum, the Roman Forum, the Pantheon. But here's what most people don't expect. Rome isn't polished. It's busy, loud, sometimes chaotic. And that's exactly what makes it feel alive. Walk through Trastevere at night, and you'll see locals spilling out of trattorias, conversation filling the narrow streets. The ancient sits right next to the modern. A 2,000-year-old temple shares a square with a coffee bar. Ruins peek out between apartment buildings. History isn't behind glass here, it's part of the everyday landscape. You'll turn a corner and stumble onto a fountain that's been there for centuries, locals filling water bottles like it's nothing. That mix of grandeur and daily life, that's what catches people off guard. Rome doesn't perform for tourists. It just exists, with all its contradictions on full display. But this is where Italy starts to change. Amalfi Coast, main highlight. Then you head south, and suddenly, everything looks different. The Amalfi Coast doesn't feel real at first. Cliffs dropping straight into bright blue water, roads carved into mountains, colorful towns stacked on top of each other. Driving along the coast feels like part of the experience. Every turn opens up a new view. The SS 163, the coastal road, winds through tunnels and around cliff faces. You'll pass through villages where the road is barely wide enough for 2 cars, where buildings seem to defy gravity, clinging to slopes that drop into the sea. Positano is the place most people recognize. But it's not just about one town. It's the entire coastline. Each village has its own personality. Amalfi itself feels grander, more established, with its cathedral dominating the main square. Atrani, just around the corner, is quieter, a place where locals still outnumber visitors. Ravello sits higher up, quieter, with views that stretch for miles. You reach it by climbing a winding road that pulls you away from the coast. And suddenly, you're above it all, looking down at the sea from gardens that feel suspended in the air. The towns here aren't just scenic, they're functional. People live and work in these places. Fishermen still pull boats onto beaches. Families run the same restaurants their grandparents opened. And the further you go, the more it feels like you're discovering something. Head toward Praiano or Furor, and the crowds thin out. The coast becomes more raw, less manicured, more about the landscape than the postcard. You'll find cubs accessible only by steep staircases, terraced lemon groves that have been cultivated for generations, small churches tucked into cliffsides. This is where the Amalfi Coast stops being a destination and starts feeling like a place. But even this isn't the side of Italy most people remember. Tuscany. If you leave the coast, everything slows down. Tuscany feels simple. Rolling hills, vineyards, small towns that haven't changed much over time. This is where Italy feels calm, less crowded, more personal. The landscape here is deliberate. Cypress trees line driveways. Farmhouses sit on hilltops, surrounded by fields that shift color with the seasons. Green in spring, golden in summer, deep brown after harvest. The towns are small. San Gimignano, Montepulciano, Pienza, places where you can walk the entire center in an hour. But you won't want to rush. There's something about the pace here that makes you slow down. Sit in a piazza with a glass of wine. Watch the light change as afternoon turns to evening. Talk to the person running the shop, the vineyard, the agriturismo. Tuscany isn't about checking things off a list. It's about being somewhere without needing it to be anything more than what it is. The food is straightforward. Bread, olive oil, cheese, wine. Simple ingredients treated with respect. Meals last longer because there's no reason to hurry. This is the side of Italy people imagine when they think about escaping, but most never make it here. They stay on the highlight reel and miss the spaces in between. Quick question. If you could visit one place in Italy, would it be the coast, the countryside, or somewhere else? Let me know in the comments. And then, you reach a place that doesn't even feel like Italy anymore. Dolomites, strong contrast. Head north, and everything changes again. The Dolomites. Massive peaks, sharp rock formations, wide open landscapes. This is not what most people expect from Italy. It feels closer to Switzerland or Austria. The architecture shifts. Wood-beamed chalets replace terracotta roofs. German is spoken as often as Italian. The food changes too. Think speck, Canederly strudel. Influences from across the border woven into the local culture. Mnemonics? No. This is Italy, just a completely different side of it. The mountains here are dramatic in a way that's hard to describe until you're standing in front of them. Jagged, vertical, almost unnatural in how they rise from the valleys. In winter, it's skiing. Resorts like Cortina d'Ampezzo draw serious skiers from across Europe. The slopes are long, the terrain varied, the snow reliable. But the Dolomites aren't just a winter destination. In summer, it's hiking through alpine trails and standing next to lakes that reflect the mountains perfectly. Lago di Braies, Tricime di Lavaredo, Sicida. These aren't casual walks. The trails take you high into the peaks, through meadows that explode with wildflowers, past refugios where you can stop for a meal before continuing. It's quiet, open, and completely different from the crowded cities. There's space here, room to breathe, the kind of landscape that makes you feel small in the best way. You can drive the mountain passes, routes like the Passo dello Stelvio, with hairpin turns that seem endless, or take cable cars that lift you thousands of feet in minutes, delivering you to viewpoints that stretch across entire valleys. The Dolomites force you to engage with the landscape differently. It's not something you observe from a distance. You're in it, surrounded by it, and it changes how Italy feels as a whole. And through all of this, one thing never changes: food and culture. The food, and not just in restaurants. It's part of everyday life. Pizza in Naples, pasta in Rome, fresh ingredients everywhere. But it goes deeper than that. Food in Italy is regional. What you eat in the north is different from what you eat in the south. Risotto in Milan, seafood in Sicily, truffles in Piedmont. Each region has its own specialties, shaped by geography, history, climate. And people take it seriously. Not in a pretentious way, in a way that respects tradition and quality. Meals are slower, more intentional. Lunch can last 2 hours, dinner even longer. It's not about eating quickly and moving on. It's about the experience, the conversation, the wine, the way each course builds on the last. Markets are still central to daily life in many towns. You'll see locals shopping for produce, cheese, meat, ingredients for that day's meal. There's a rhythm to it, a connection between what's grown and what's eaten. And no matter where you are in Italy, that experience stays consistent. The respect for food, the care and preparation, the understanding that a meal is more than just fuel. So what makes Italy so different? It's not just the landmarks. It's the contrast. History, coast, countryside, mountains, all in one country. And each part feels like its own world. You can start your day walking through ancient ruins and end it watching the sunset over alpine peaks. You can spend 1 week on the coast and the next in a hill town where nothing has changed in centuries. Most people only experience a small part of it. They hit the major cities, see the famous sights, and leave. But Italy rewards going deeper, taking the back roads, staying longer in the smaller places, letting each region reveal itself on its own terms. That's why Italy isn't just one trip. It's many. You could come back 5 times and still find something new. A valley you didn't know existed, a village you'd never heard of, a coastline that doesn't make it into the guidebooks. The more you explore, the more you realize how much there is, and how different each piece of it feels. If you enjoy exploring places like this in a different way, make sure to subscribe. There's a lot more coming. We're digging into destinations beyond the surface, finding the parts that don't make it into the usual travel videos. And let me know in the comments, which part of Italy would you visit first? The history? The coast? The mountains? Or something else entirely?